All right, it's episode 30 of the Rainier Strength Pod. Episode 30. Can't believe we made it this far, but here we are with the one and only Noah Johnson. Noah is an elite IPF single-ply competitor with an 876 squat, 578 bench, and a 771 deadlift. That comes to a total of 2,222 pounds at only 25 years old, mind you. Body weight around 228. This guy is a freaking savage. He's a phenom. He is an inspiration to many Americans that want to get to the IPF. Noah Johnson, how are you doing, my man?
I'm pretty good.
Right on, dude. So you were actually a request from a listener in Norway. So all the way out in Norway, someone was like, you got to get Noah Johnson on the pod. And I was like, dude, kid's a fucking savage. Absolutely. Why would I not? So your most recent meet here was in March of 2026. And it looks like you put up some massive numbers. That was the 876 squat. Now, tell me how this prep went. It looks like everything went flawless. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, this is a 3, 6, 7, 8 for 9 meet. That's insane. First of all, especially in equipment. So tell me how this meet went, like the prep leading up to it, your performance, and how you felt about it.
Honestly, the whole prep was we were trying not to push it all the way. It's my first time ever competing in 105 and not 93. So I was really just trying to gain weight and then trying to see how much strength I'd gain from that. But really, the prep was pretty straightforward. We tried not to push our numbers too hard at the meet, but the weight gain helped a ton, obviously. you know? Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, like,
Yeah.
you know, try not to push the numbers is crazy with an 876 pound squat, man. That's insane because you also ventured into territory unknown because it looks like your last meet before that was in October of 2025. And that's when you put up the 815 squat. So it looks like you definitely went into like some PR uncharted territory. So when you're kind of making those giant leaps into the unknown for you, do you have any like anxiety, nervousness, or is it kind of like, this is just part of the job at this point? I've had over 800 pounds on my back. This is nothing.
There's some anxiety going into competitions. I get nervous for every single competition, but when I'm lifting, it's just what I did in the, training too. Even in the training, I squatted more. I went up to like 405 for a squat, so like 900 pounds.
Yeah.
So it's like, in the competition, it's actually less than I've done. So I just take it as something I've done before,
Yeah. Yeah. Dude, that's freaking awesome. And your training also posted on Instagram is super sick. Is that your dad that you're training with?
Yes, that was my dad.
That is the dream right there. That is so sick. And your dad also competes as well, right?
He does. Yes.
Now, was he the
world lifter?
Was he the one that got you into powerlifting?
Actually, I mean, he competed back in like the 80s and 90s. And then my sister joined in, probably 2010, 2015, somewhere in that area. And then I joined in because my sister joined, and then my whole family started working out. So my dad got back into it, but it was probably more my sister and my brother that got me into it.
Nice, man. So it's a whole family of freaks, dude. It's just all you guys are just, dude, that's so awesome. Because like, you hear it every now and then, like the UFC fighter, John Jones, right? It's like you have him in the UFC, then his brothers are in the fucking NFL. And it's like sometimes you have this genetic lineage that is just so crazy, man. Some freak athletes, and the Johnsons are apparently up there as well in the sport of powerlifting. A lot of good families. The Lilly Bridges too come to mind. We talk about families that have competed at a really high level. Now, what prompted this weight gain to shoot from 204 up to 228? What did you do for that? Was it just like a caloric surplus? Did you have to like force feed a lot? Are you a hard gainer? How did that work with the weight gain?
Honestly, I just ate everything. Tons of pizza, tons of ice cream. Just everything. For the most part, I usually sat around 215 in my 205 weight class. So I just ate everything, A lot more unhealthy than I normally eat, if I'd be honest.
I bet it was fun, though.
Yes, I had a great time. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So did you have to cut anything to get down to 228, or you just walked in?
Oh, it's just what I was. I just walked in. Honestly, I lost some weight. I think I was up to 230 before that. So traveling made me lose the 2-3 pounds. So,
nice, dude. And so for that, for that 205 pound mark, you were cutting down for that.
Yeah, I'd lose about 10 pounds for that.
Now, was that difficult for you, or was it kind of like just like a little bit of water loading and stuff like that? Not too hard.
It was pretty simple, honestly. I would just clean up my diet a little, and I wouldn't even really water load. Honestly, I would just cut out probably chips. Yeah. It's pretty straightforward, honestly. And then I would go back to, I usually do like a they call it like the monster mash, where it's beef and rice and broth. You know, it's just a classic. You know,
Yep.
yeah.
Absolutely.
So
Shout out
that's my
Stan
go-to.
Efferding. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely, dude. Hell
yeah.
yeah, man. And with so with these, I mean, you have a massive total right now, dude. I mean, anything over 2,000 pounds is huge. And it's one thing, then when we start putting it into perspective, like we start putting asterisks in there, like body weight, drug free, drug tested, that kind of stuff, it makes it even a bigger accomplishment. So when you're accomplishing these huge things in the sport, especially at a young age of 25, what motivates you to go further despite what you've already accomplished?
I mean, honestly, I always have that feeling in the back of my head, like I want to beat the top people. Like right now, it's like Ian Bell and 105 and stuff. Like, not that I'm gonna beat him. I mean, me and him are friends, but like, I would like to get close at least, or at least push him, or like I want to be number one, obviously. So that's really it. Honestly, just keep pushing for the title, the world
Yeah.
title. Yeah,
Yeah. Shout out to Ian Bell, man. That guy's a freaking savage. His dad, too. Again,
definitely. Yeah,
another duo of just fucking pure savagery there. So when you
definitely.
started out, you started very young, dude. It looks like your first meet was when you were 13 years old. That is
Yeah.
insane. That's crazy. So when you first started, did you have aspirations of like the IPF, like this is where I want to go, or were you just like, we'll compete and see what happens?
Not at all, to be honest. I think I just I got in the right group, but like I just wanted to compete and be like the people I was with. I was a little chubbier kid, so I was working out to get a little skinnier, and I just wanted to get stronger. And then I didn't know what IPF was when I was 13. So like I was like I actually started lifting 3 years before that. So I started when I was really young, like 10ish, 11. So then I just wanted to compete. I was working with all these powerlifters and stuff in the public, like a public gym over by my house, and it's like I just wanted to do what they were doing, and yeah, I just did a competition. But I used to lift on like a what do you call that, like a monolift or whatever, like the yeah. So like I just you know got in the right group, right thing, and I just wanted to be strong. So
Yeah, dude.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. Shout out to the monolift. I love the mono, like that old school kind of powerlifting feel is always really cool, So with this, one thing too, I was interested in is with this bulk. I'm always interested in what like people like to eat because I'm like a really fat kid at heart, right? I spent most of my
Mhm.
life being lean. Recently, I got a little bit bigger, a little bit chubby. But like, so during this bulk, putting on this weight, like, what was your favorite thing to eat? Something that was like, I can't get enough of this right now. Especially in Wisconsin, man. You guys got fucking cheese and ice cream and the good milk. You guys got all the good stuff out there, man. So, what was your favorite thing to put down during this bulk?
Hands down, it's always ice cream. It's ice cream, 100%. We got Culver's too, so I love their custard and burgers, but yeah, it's ice cream for sure. Yeah,
Dude, do you guys have cheddar cheese ice cream out there, man?
I think there is. I've never had it.
Never had it,
I
dude.
think there
Because
is.
I was at a fair up here recently in Washington State, and they had like it was like a Wisconsin cheddar cheese ice cream, and I was like, "What in the hell is this?" So I tried it. It really was not as bad as people would think. Like you hear it, and the knee jerk reaction is like, "Oh my god, what is this?" No, it was actually pretty good, man. It wasn't too bad.
Yeah, I've never had it. Yeah.
Dude, so you have a few meets that have been outside the country, obviously. Romania, Iceland, Lithuania, Denmark. Out of these countries that you've visited so far, which one would you say was your favorite or you had your most pleasant experience in?
Like for competition wise, or just me being there?
Let's split it. Yeah, competition wise and then also just like fun and recreational.
I think honestly, I really liked the last one I did, the Romanian one. I think my competition was just pretty good. I totaled 950 and 93. I was pretty happy. I took third. It's my first time ever being third in open worlds. So, I mean, I always say it's the one medal I care the most about because, open worlds better than anything. So, yeah. And then just in general, like visiting, I really liked when I was in 2018, I went to South Africa for sub junior worlds or junior worlds. I think it was sub junior worlds. And then I really liked just being in South Africa. I did like safaris and I pet cheetahs and, I got to wander around and I swear it was some of the best food. And I really enjoyed it, honestly. It was a good time.
Dude, that's so cool. That's so
Yeah.
awesome, man. Eh, have you ever had when you visit these other countries or you're like having to compete at these other countries, you have issues with like adjusting to just like maybe the time or like the food or something like that? Or do you get there early enough where you're already climatized to all that by the time the meet comes around?
To be honest, I feel like I really don't struggle with it too much. I do struggle to keep the weight on. So usually when I travel overseas, I lose a lot of weight. But I'm pretty not picky, so I'll eat anything. And I like trying new foods, and like that stuff doesn't really bother me. The change of the time's not too bad. I'm usually there early enough because I usually compete with my sister too in open worlds. So I usually go earlier to watch her lift. So then I'm just there early for my own competition, which is usually like 2 days later. So I'm there 4 days
Okay.
early. So yeah.
And when you go there, are you going like with your family, or are you going as a team with like an IPF team or something like that? I'm unfamiliar with how the process works of actually getting there. Is that on you, or does the IPF help with that?
They give us like a thing where like what airport to arrive at and like what time we compete and stuff like that. But it's all on us. So usually we'll link up with people. Like sometimes I know like Taylor LaChapelle lives in Wisconsin, so like sometimes we'll link up with her in Chicago, or like my sister's in California, but she also competes, and then we'll meet up with her somewhere. Usually I meet with her overseas somewhere, like in a layover, and then we just link up. But usually it's just one, two, or three people I link up with, and then head over there with. And then, yeah, we just
Nice,
all meet at the hotel. So,
nice. And what
yeah.
part of California is your sister in?
Right now she's in LA. She was in San Diego, but she's moved to LA
Okay.
like a week ago or two. So,
Okay, nice, dude.
yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I'm very familiar with California. I have a ton of family out there. So is it comfortable for you kind of traveling like with your family? I got to imagine going into these meets, there's, as you said, like there's a certain amount of nervousness or like pressure going into these meets, especially at the IPF level, because the judging is going to be to the standard, right? The highest standard of powerlifting. So it's like, and then you're flying out of the country sometimes. Is there a level of comfort there that you're able to like travel with your family? Is your dad going with you as well to these meets that are out of the country?
He went with me to Iceland and then the South Africa trip. I think that's the only two he's gone with me. Oh, and I
Okay.
went to one in Canada too. But yeah, those are the three he went to with. But it is nice to have family with because you just get someone familiar with, and usually it's
Yeah.
cheaper. I share a hotel room with her, so splitting costs and stuff's always nicer. So, and then usually after I compete, we go around and travel, and sometimes we'll hop to other countries or just travel around that country. But it's nice to have like someone you just know that you'll travel with.
Yeah, dude. Absolutely. And with that relationship with your dad that you have in the sport, is he your coach, or is he more so like your spotter, someone looking out for you, giving you just kind of like tips every now and then, or is he actually designing your programming that's causing these massive, massive PRs?
When I was younger, he would coach me, but I think he's kind of like ingrained in me to coach myself. So it's like the last probably 4 or 5 years, it's like collaborative. So we both talk about what program we want to do, and then he'll look over my program, and yeah, we just kind of figure out what we're going to do. But he definitely still coaches me. I mean, he still critiques me, and he looks over my program and, tells me when I'm being stupid or not. you know, yeah, yeah. So, it's a good coach. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
When to pull it back. That's
definitely. 100%. That's important.
dude,
Yeah,
it's always good to have someone there to tell you, look, you gotta pull back, or like maybe, hey, you're being a pussy, you might want to, send it a little bit more. Um,
definitely. Yeah.
so when you train, are you training alongside him? Is he training with you, or are you guys training at separate times? How is that working?
We train basically the same time. I mean, there's like, we've had injuries or stuff in the past. Less for me, more for him because he's a little bit older. But so usually if he's injured, we'll kind of separate our programs and he'll train separate. But if we're both healthy, we train together. I mean, we're switching between sets and changing the weight, and it's kind of nice because it keeps us going in a good flow. And then we just, we don't really time our weight between breaks or like between sets, and then it's like kind of nice that he goes, I go, he goes, I go. It's like a good flow, you know.
Dude, that's so sick. That's
Yeah,
awesome, man. That is really cool, dude.
yeah.
And with your training, like how take me through like a week of your training. Like how often are you getting in the equipment? How often are you training raw? What does that look like for you?
More recently, we actually do less. I think Joe Capolino he gave me a little spreadsheet, like a preset program, but it was like I think I squat with equipment, and then I bench shirt and equipment, and then I'll take a week off a squat bench, and then I deadlift the next week. So it's almost like every other week to every third week, and then somewhere in the program I have an all raw week, and I think there is 2 weeks on the whole program, it's an 8 week program where I'm in all three. So, but it's kind of just not every week, It's kind of offset it, so then it gives my body more time to recover and not overdo it.
Yeah,
So
kind of staggering the usage of equipment there. Yeah.
definitely 100%, yeah.
Yeah. And with one thing I'm curious about is I remember when I was talking to Zen told me that he's like anti-accessories. Like, he doesn't really do any accessories too much. Now, some people, maybe more like in the multiply scene or maybe in the raw scene, you'll see more usage of accessories. Things like bodybuilding movements to help strengthen kind of like muscles or grow or things like that. So are you utilizing a lot of like accessory movements? Are you cutting the range of motion a lot? Like, how are you manipulating these exercises, or what are you doing outside of the big three that's causing the success?
In the past, we used to do way more accessories. Like I used to do a lot of box squats, chain box squats, banded box squats, reverse bands, a lot of banded stuff. I really like bands in general. I think Zen's a hater of bands, but I like that stuff. But yeah, I do a lot. I mean, a lot of other accessories too, like bicep curls, tricep extensions, and rope pull downs. The simple things. But I really focus mostly on squat, bench, and deadlift. And if we do, I like to squat on Mondays and do a variation of deadlift on Monday. And then when I deadlift on Thursday, I usually do a variation of squat, if it's like box squat or whatever. But I usually try to find my weakness, whatever I failed in the last cycle, and then I just try to focus on that area of range of motion.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Sick, dude. Yeah, and you are 100% correct. Zen is a big hater of bands. So shout out to Zen for hating bands.
Yeah.
We love Zen though.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Fucking great kid. He's a fucking mutant. So what is it about this is interesting here, because most people that I've talked to prefer the chains over the bands, especially someone like I was talking to JM Blakely not too long ago, and he's big on chains, especially like floor press, chain floor press and things like that, was not big on bands at all. So what is it about the bands that sticks out a little bit more for you, or you gravitate toward more so than the chains?
Well, chains just get bulky too, especially if you want a lot heavier weight. So like it just depends how heavy you're going with the chains. But like if you want like a pretty excessive weight of chains, there's just gonna be a lot of chain in the middle of your bar or on the edge of your bars. And it's also I have my own little home gym that I'm in right now. I don't have much chains. I probably only have 60 pounds of chains. But if I do band tension, I can add 300-400 pounds of band tension just with little bands.
Yep.
So yeah,
Yeah.
just easier, in my opinion. And it's a lot less space for my gym. Bands I can hang up on the wall. It's easier.
Yeah. Dude, you have a sick little setup over there, man. Like, it looks like you're in a capsule when you're posting training videos. It looks like I can see some like Dragon Ball Z type of feel, man. Like you're in a capsule or something. It's super sick. I really like it, how it looks. The aesthetics of it is super cool. So out of these three lifts, man, I always ask everyone, out of these three, and we all have a favorite, or one that we like a little bit more than the other, right? I am a bench press supremacist, nationalist, if you will. I love the bench press. So for you, out of these three lifts, man, which one would you say is your favorite to train?
I do think it changes for equip versus raw though. My favorite raw one would definitely be bench. It's easy, lay down, just touch and go or whatever you want to do. It's just easier. The accessories are more fun usually too. But for equipped, I do love squatting. I love walking out the heavy weight, and I think it's the biggest thrill I get is squat. Like, it's the one that probably kill you the most and, just crush me, Yeah. Yeah. Makes it more exciting,
Yeah. 100%,
so
dude. You
definitely squat,
Okay.
hands down. Yeah.
Okay. And some people that I've talked to, man, I go back and forth on this, just walking out the squats. Like some days I'm like, this is sick, because I only compete in like the USPA mainly. So it's like we're walking everything out, right? So, but sometimes also I'm like, I'm lazy and I like the monolift. It's like I don't really want to walk it out, but I also don't like how the technique changes with the monolift, like with your pick and stuff like that. Because it's like when I walk out a squat, I have a way to like adjust the pressure and climatize, for lack of a better word, to the pressure as I'm walking it out. I can shift it around everywhere. On a monolift, it's like you pick it and it's just kind of there, right? It's like a fucking piston. It's just trying to come down on you, right? So do you have a preference if you could squat out of a monolift, let's say in competition, let's say the IPF said, Noah Johnson, what do you want to do? You want to walk it out or do you want to pick it from a mono? Which one and why?
Well, if I was competing with other people and they could not pick it, like not have to walk it out, I'd probably choose the monolift because I think I could squat way more on a monolift. But if I had to make the overall rule, I would have to walk out. I think it's more impressive to walk it out and then squat it. It definitely takes out quite a bit of kilos by walking it out and then trying to set it up correctly. So, yeah, I would say walking out. I think walking out is superior in my opinion. So,
Okay.
yeah. I would say monolift. I don't want to say it's cheating, but it's easier.
You
Yeah.
can say it's cheating, no problem. I'll say it for you. It's cheating, all right?
I don't think it's cheating. It's just easier. Yeah.
You lazy bastards.
It helps if you're competing against people that also don't walk it out.
Yeah.
So like, yeah. Then if you have the option, I say go for it. But yeah, it's still impressive when you squat 1,000+ pounds in a monolift.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, dude, yeah, it's wild.
Yeah,
man.
yeah. I'm not gonna hate on that. So
yeah.
But walking out would be more impressive. So,
dude, yeah. Why you fucking Ray Williams and Blaine Sumner and fucking? I'm like, dude, oh my god,
100%.
you guys are freaks, dude.
Or even like Zen, like him walking out 1,000 pounds. Yeah, it takes a lot on you. Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Dude, you're walking with 1,000 pounds on your back, dude. You are not that far off. Like you are creeping up there. I mean, you're knocking on the door for fucking 900 pounds any day now. So is that kind of like, because these huge numbers get in the back of our minds sometimes as lifters. Like for me, it was like one of the big things I wanted to do is like I wanted 405 raw bench, no drugs. And that, like, I was fucking obsessed, and I failed it for a long time because I'm not a naturally good bench presser. I'm a small dude, naturally supposed to be skinny, had to eat to get this big. So are you thinking about that, like, 1,000-pound squat? Is that something that's kind of in the back of your mind of like, hey, man, this is, maybe this might be in the cards for me? Or is it like you're just focused more on the titles, right? Like,
it's kind of a combo, though. I definitely think about it, though. Like, for a long time there, I wanted to be the first 93 to squat 900. I didn't, but I wanted to be, I thought about it all the time. Now I'm 105. I think it's like a new territory, so I don't even know what I really want. But I think the world record's like 450 or something like that. So it'd be cool to push for the world record. But I know it's literally just shy of 1,000 pounds. So it's kind of the same goal, I always thought it'd be cool, too, to push deadlift. Like, I know, like Ian Bell's record, it's like 371. I could be wrong, but it's somewhere around that area. So it'd be cool to push towards like a 400 kilo, or me or him, but like try to push him heavier on deadlift. Yeah, but I really just care about squat and deadlift. I don't care about bench. No offense. Yeah. I don't think about bench. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome, dude. No, that's good. That's good because I have a mixture of people, right? Like there's some people that are like, dude, bench is sick. Like that's all I care about. I have a lot of people that compete in bench only that I help and stuff like that. And then I have some people that are like, whatever, dude. I've heard it at meets before where we'll be like on our way to bench. And like, there's people in the warm up room that are like, it's just bench, dude. I'm just trying to get to deadlift. And I'm like, come on, dude.
I'm just talking
about my lift. Yeah, come on, man. Don't talk about my lift like that, dude. Come on, man. We get to lay down. We're powerlifters. Supposed to be lazy. Like, this is good. This is a good lift.
Usually have to squat and stuff. My back cramps and like, it's not as easy, Yeah. That's definitely.
Speaking of which, dude, for like, I'm always curious about how people are warming up, because for me, I mean, when I was, God, I'm gonna sound fucking old here, so I'm 33, but when I was your age, when I was 25, I barely had to warm up. I mean, I didn't really have to do that much. Like, I felt good just going into the gym, honestly. Now at 33, a little bit more banged up, especially from wrestling, I have to warm up kind of extensively here and there. So for you, like, how long are you warming up? What are you doing to warm up? Is there any like mobility work in there, static, stretching, dynamic? How's that look for you?
I do basically nothing. I do hip circle for probably 3 minutes, and then that's it. I just start squatting with the plate, and then or like delve with the plate, or, I just warm up on the bar, I would say, normally. So I usually just do the red twice for whatever lift I'm doing, and then just start going up. And then just do like 50 kilo jumps from there up to whatever I need. So yeah.
To be young, dude, I love it, dude. No, that's fucking awesome, dude. I love it.
Yeah. I don't think it's the best thing, though. I don't recommend it to people because it's probably not the best, but it works for me.
Dude, absolutely. And it's the most like it's the most time friendly method as well, obviously, because some of this stuff, especially when you're in the equipment, can get some time constraints here, man. Definitely. It takes a while. So when you are warming up, we're gonna go over your squat here. So when you are, let's say you got like a heavy equip day for your squat, when are you throwing on the gear? Around like what poundage are you like, okay, are you throwing everything on at once, or are you putting it on kind of piece by piece? We're going to do straps down, we're going to do bare knee, then we're going to throw the wraps on. Like, how does that progression in putting on the equipment look?
I do it different too for competitions than what I do in the gym, but like I do it piece by piece is my preferred. And then usually I warm up 50 kilo jumps up to like this can be in kilos though. I don't
Yeah,
really lift in pounds anymore. But yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So I'll warm up to 225 probably. I'll do that raw, no knee sleeves. And then I probably put my bottoms on, jump up to 275, and then put my I'll probably either put wraps on and do 325. And then if I do straps up, probably like 355, 375. So usually I'm fully equipped when I get closer to like the 800 pound to 700 pound range, depending on the day. So yeah, but in a competition, I'll normally just I'll probably double it up a little bit. So like I try to save energy, for my competition. So I usually put my bottoms on at like 175, and then or even earlier. Just depends how I feel that day. And then I'll start putting wraps on earlier too, probably closer to like um, probably like 225, 275, and then straps up 275 to whatever I need, and then full equip from there.
Okay.
But yeah.
That's interesting because my coach as well is huge on like raw strength, obviously, and making sure that that foundation doesn't have any cracks in it, right? Because some guys, not everyone, but some guys, I see this a lot more in multiply guys that get into the equipment rely far too heavily on solely on technique in the equipment to just completely carry the work. And instead of being like 60-40 with the equipment, maybe it's like 80-20. Like it's huge and it shows. So, how important to your success has it been to kind of maintain that raw base that you have? Because you have a raw squat on here of 628. That's a big squat. You have a 705 raw deadlift. So, how important is that to you to kind of like maintain that? Or have you just kind of leaned into the equipment more and learned the proficiency and the technique? And that's kind of what's carried you up here?
It's a little bit of both. I think the raw foundation's huge, honestly. I think when I walk out squats and stuff, I think all that foundation comes from my raw and like my core strength, and like I think I'm strong enough without the equipment that when the equipment is put on, that it just makes me that much stronger. And then it is obviously a technique too. My stance is quite a bit wider, equipped, and like all that stuff matters, so like it is learning how to sit back and use the equipment to your advantage, and the wraps and the bench shirt. And I suck at bench shirt, but I'm trying, and that, yeah, you just try to use all this stuff to your advantage, but the raw foundation is what gets me there, I would say. I'd say it's important.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
for you, because everyone takes to these pieces of equipment differently, right? Like some people, like for me, when I put on a bench shirt for the first time, I was like, "Oh my god, this is terrible." But then after, like honestly, a few weeks, I was like, "I can do this." Like, okay, cool, this is sick, no problem. But now it's like, I'm that velocity is getting tight, and those fixed straps are not fun to deal with. I would much rather have Velcro, but for single and what I'm doing, I got to be fixed strapped. So it is what it is. And it feels like it's trying to like pull me down and I hate it. I get claustrophobic and it sucks.
Hmm.
So for you, out of these three garments here, the squat suit, the bench shirt, and the deadlift suit, which one was the hardest to kind of take to, or which one was the most uncomfortable for you when you got into
uh,
this?
Definitely the bench shirt. I think it's the
Okay.
most technique one, and like I think I bench raw still in my bench shirt, so like my elbows are very flared, and I really struggle to use my bench shirt to my advantage, I would say. So I would say bench shirt's I think it's the hardest for most people, unless you're just really good at it. Like you do have the few individuals that just, they get it, but like I still really struggle. Yeah,
Yep.
definitely. Yeah.
We got up there in Canada, man, freaking Shane Martin. That guy's a freak, dude. He's someone that bench specialist. I mean, that dude takes to a shirt like fucking fish to a water. Very, very good in a bench shirt. Um, so for the squat suit, how does your technique change besides utilizing the equipment, sitting back and whatnot, your stance and things like that? How does that change? Does the bar placement change as well when you're in the suit versus raw, or are you just the bar staying in the same place, kind of low bar, mid bar? How's that looking for you?
My bar stays the same. It's both low bar. I think low bar is just better. Keeps you more upright. You know. Yeah.
Okay.
So that stays the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you
It's really
have
just
any?
my stance that
Okay,
changes
so your stance
for squat.
obviously is much wider when
Yeah,
you're in the equipment.
definitely.
And
I think
when you're
I think it's
there, go
mostly just
ahead.
because the squat suit holds the hips. Like that helps me get the wider stance. If I was doing that raw, I think it would hurt my hips more. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And have you noticed any? Like, how often are you pushing your raw? Because I've noticed too, for myself personally, if my technique changes too much and then I push the raw stuff too much, I get there's issues there. Like for me, I was in my late 20s or excuse me, early 30s when I first got into the equipment kind of I was only in it for like a month and I was like, you know what? Like I don't think I like this, but I do like squatting wider cuz I'm a pretty narrow squatter. And so I was like, you know what? I think I'm gonna change my stance. I think I'm gonna squat wide. I was like, I'm gonna ditch the suit. I wore it like 4 times or something. I was like, I don't want to do this. So and then I ended up tearing my adductor with like it was like weight that, I should have been able to bang out for reps, no problem. But it was like that lack in accommodation in building up those muscles that I hadn't really used before under that load. It caused them to tear. So do you have any issues when you're pushing your raw squat because of the technique change at all, or do you not really notice it too much?
Actually, the first week or two, I mean, my abductors would be sore and stuff. Like, I think the change, I do feel it, but I think it helps. I'm a sumo deadlifter and stuff, so like, I think I'm used to still pushing stuff wider. I guess like my hips and stuff. So my hips kind of still have that feeling. I think. So I switched over to my raw, and I've also been squatting wide for 8, 9 years now in equipment. So like, I'm just kind of used to it, I would say. But it is kind of like I don't ever really push my raw stuff that much ever. So like I use it as a foundation for my equipment. I don't ever really plan on maxing raw. So I just feel like yeah, I do kind of just get used to it. But I do think you should be careful switching your stance and then adding tons of weight. Yeah,
100%, dude. I can
yeah, definitely.
agree with this from an anecdotal point of view, dude. I can absolutely agree with this. And with the equipment they're using, right? All the Titan stuff, man. Because when you watch IPF stuff on YouTube, it's like Titan has like the monopoly, right? They make good shit. So it's like kind of like when you're watching multiply stuff, you'll see their ins are overkill. So with all the Titan equipment and stuff, was that kind of the first stuff that you just kind of like fell into? Like I'm going to use this, or did you use any other brands before Titan and you were like, no, this sucks. I'm going to go to Titan, or have you just been with them forever?
I have tried other equipment, other brands. I tried like the Bolt, which is just a bench shirt, obviously. But then I think I've tried an Inzer. I don't know, to be honest. I did in high school. So like back in high school, I just used whatever the high school team had. So like, and they had some Titan, they had some Inzer, they had some, things where a lot of them felt like singlets, but were suits, some are old and some are new, but but Titan, I think honestly, it's just the best. It's the best equipment I've found at least. It fits me the best. It just works the best. It tears the least. I mean, I've seen all these other shirts that just blow a lot. I don't want that. I only bench 500 pounds. I don't need to blow, yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. I just think this is the best. I like the belt the most. It's the thickest belt I've used. And yeah, I think I've just kind of found them, but they're the best in my opinion. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, that's like, dude, back in the day, like, dude, the Inzer, like those denim shirts would blow, dude, and it would sound like a
hmm
gunshot. Like you can see the videos and stuff, and I've heard JM talk about it a lot. It's fucking wild, dude. The stories that he has of shirts blowing
yeah,
out when he's got like 600 and something pounds and 700 pounds on his chest, and I'm like, oh man, that's fucking terrifying, dude.
yeah. And the
So,
old Bolt too was supposed to blow a lot too. That's what I heard. Yeah. I've never
dude,
seen it, but that's what I've heard.
dude, it
Yeah,
would not surprise me.
yeah. The new one's crazy too. I've tried the new Bolt, but it's excessive.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, dude,
yeah.
it definitely wouldn't surprise me just because Inzer has a weird it's a weird sizing thing too, man. Like their
hmm
sizes are fucking bizarre, dude. And God forbid you need alterations if you send it to them. Don't send it to them. Send it somewhere else because you will get it back. It will be this monstrosity Frankenstein creation that like, I don't know. It's really weird. But I feel like their multiply gear is definitely like a lot better, especially like the LUP and stuff like that, the OG, the
hmm
Leviathan, those type of things seem to be way better. It seems to be their wheelhouse. Are you sponsored by Titan?
I am.
Nice, dude. That's
Yeah.
so sick, man. So how did that relationship start with Titan? Did they just like reach out to you and were like, yo, you're a killer, be on our team?
Well, I think they usually, honestly, they sponsor the world team usually for the IPF for the US. So I think I mean, they've sponsored me for since 2018 on basically. I think it was a year or two during COVID where they didn't probably give me anything, but then even more recently, I had like a photo shoot planned with them, I think, and their equipment, and then like they just talk about sponsoring me year round and stuff like that. So yeah, but it's just kind of grown over the years, I would say, for being on the world team.
Nice.
So
Nice,
yeah.
dude. And for you, you're up there, man. You're in it right now. You are like at that level. You're knocking on the door. You're competing internationally. So for you being on the other side of things, being an international lifter, what separates these top guys, someone like yourself, maybe even someone like a Zen, like these top athletes that you've observed, that you've been around, competed next to? What separates these guys from the guys that are maybe like locally strong? Is it what is it? Is it in your opinion, genetics, mindset, programming? What do you think it is?
I think it's a little bit of factors of everything, obviously, like genetics and stuff. But I would say consistency, because I mean, I've been saying this for years, but I feel like there's always some farmer out there or something that just hasn't found powerlifting that's probably stronger than all of us. Someone's been throwing hay since they're like 10 years old or something. Like it's just, certain people find the sport and then their mindset's right, and then the consistency's there. I mean, the dieting's there, and then a lot of times too, finding the right coach, the right programming, so you don't injure yourself too early or do anything crazy, while you're super young, or, and then sticking with it, honestly, because I feel like we're usually, a lot of top people are not that different than the bottom people, I think. Obviously, genetics play a big part. I do think my family's got good genetics, I would assume, since, we're all world lifters, but, but we're also consistent. We all hold each other consistent. We all stay up and, show up at the gym and message each other and talk about the stuff. So, you know, I would
Yeah.
say it's kind of all thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not wrong about the consistency aspect for sure, because it's very easy to get distracted, especially in today's day and age of social media, right? It's very
Hmm.
easy to be like, I want to do this instead. I want to do that instead. Powerlifting has a very high turnover rate, very high. So for people to stick with it, I mean, honestly, dude, just over 5 years is really big. Like
Hmm.
there's a lot of people I see that don't even make it 5 years. Like it's just they fade out real quick. Um, and Absolutely. I think you're right too. I think it's definitely a combination of things. Um, so what do you the IPF catches some heat, bro. It catches some heat. There's a few reasons why, right? Now, I like the IPF. I've had tons of IPF lifters on the podcast. I watch it. I don't really honestly, I don't watch too much powerlifting. There's people that I'm invested in that I watch, right? But as far as like sitting down and watching something, I'll watch the IPF and I'll watch the WPO. And outside of that, not much. I just see clips, to be completely honest, especially from the raw stuff. For me, I grew up in a time when it was like fucking Dan Green and Yuri Belkin and Pete Rubish, and like, so it was just way different time for raw than it is now. Um, so what do you think, as someone that's on the other side of it, what do you think the biggest misconception that people have about the IPF, and does the IPF get so much heat?
Mm. I mean, I don't really know, but honestly, like the misconception, I guess, is that they're, I don't really know. I feel like they always try to, like, you get a lot from like the USA powerlifting and stuff like that side of the community, where they're trying to like the whole third party testing issue and they got banned, you know. But like, it is kind of weird to in-house test, in my opinion, like the way the USA powerlifting was doing it. I mean, I do kind of agree with the way powerlifting or IPF is doing it, but the IPF obviously does stuff too, with like, teams like Ukraine, and like there's certain teams where like they don't really drug test them as much as they probably should. I also don't blame them. I mean, Ukraine's in war right now. I mean, how are you going to get in there to drug test them and stuff like that? Like, there's like a lot of things, but like honestly, most IPF I think hate that I see. I mean, besides the rule change recently, but it's just like the drug testing part. That's what I see. But honestly, I think I go to competitions, I get drug tested all the time. I get randomly drug tested all the time. I mean, at least for the U.S., I mean, they're on top of it, I would say.
That's
So I
awesome.
don't know. Yeah,
And with the no, you're right about that. I mean, it's just like with Olympic weightlifting. Like in the Olympics, it's like, how are you gonna get to North Korea, right? How are you gonna
e-
test the North Korean Olympic? Good
exactly.
luck, brother. Like it's gonna have
Yeah,
to be honor system, you know what I mean?
yeah. Like
um
I definitely don't blame them either. Like I mean, like who are you gonna send there? Like yeah, yeah, exactly. And
yeah,
honestly, they could be clean. I don't. I mean, you really don't know. That's the thing. And it's like I'm not blaming anyone for not being clean, but it's like how do you know? You know,
yeah,
if there
yeah.
was a perfect opportunity to test or to use some and cycle steroids, I mean. countries that are hard to get to and pretty excluded locations or whatever. Like that's the place to do it. you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude. Yeah. But the whole thing about that, because, you know, I'm not anti-drug, I'm still somehow not on TRT. I'm still, because I'm still making progress. I'm like, I don't fucking need it yet. You know what I mean? So I prefer to take that route, as of now. Well, I don't know what the future holds, but it always pisses me off when people decide to use drugs and try to subvert the system, because it's like, we have a whole category over here of race horses that are juiced to the gills, and you can use whatever you want. And to just, I don't know why, to just try to subvert that drug testing system it's a very dishonorable thing to do. Like, it sucks. Like, you suck. Like, why would you do that,
But when this is the thing too. Like a lot of those countries get paid. I mean, they're on a team. Like U.S. they don't get paid at all. So like you're right. Like why would you cheat? I mean, I'm literally losing money going to competitions and paying to travel there and do all this stuff. But like other countries, they actually get they get a paycheck for the win, world records, and I mean, there's a lot of pressure to be there, to be on the team, especially for them if that's their job, their salary, the money they make. So like it kind of makes sense that they have way more pressure, so they would be more likely to test, especially if they have injuries, if they're behind, if you see other teams that are like if someone sees me up and coming, they might be more likely to try to, you know, stay ahead of me,
Yeah.
use something. Yeah. So yeah,
Yeah.
so it definitely makes sense to me, but I'm just saying anything. I'm not against drugs. I just don't think you should cheat.
Yeah.
It's as simple as
Yeah.
that. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's weird too, especially in the day and age of social media. It's like, dude, there's a ton of people that don't even compete. They're just Instagram big, and end up making money off of like programming or sponsorships or whatever. Like MHP sponsors like Joseph Tamburello, doesn't really like compete or anything, but I mean, he's in the gym absolutely crushing it. And it's like, there's other ways to make money from this rather than trying to like just cheat. It seems very lowbrow. As far as like the randomized drug test, how does that look for you? Like, are they showing up like to your house, to your work? Like, how does that how do those randoms look?
They usually show up to my house. I mean, most of them are at my house. Usually it's in the morning or in the evening, honestly. They just knock on my door. I have a Ring doorbell. So like, you just, whatever. You're like, you go and get dressed. It's pretty simple. I've been tested so many times. It's like kind of routine. There was one time they tested me at my job, which is, kind of awkward because they just showed up. It was kind of weird on USADA's point because they showed up like an hour and a half before my testing time. And it was one of those days where I was busy at work and I probably had like 2 hours left of my shift. And then so I would have probably been late at my house, but they still showed up super early. And then yeah, I just tested in a public bathroom. Very weird. Probably not sanitary. Probably not good, honestly. Yeah, I already know what to do. Yeah, I took like a 15-minute break from my work and, peed in the cup and yeah. Yeah. I was like, imagine everyone else too, because we're in a public bathroom and I was in the handicap stall at the end. I'm just talking to some dude and, we're having a conversation at the end stall and yeah, peeing in the cup and yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. I was like, imagine everyone else here, Yeah. Yeah. So. Yeah,
oh my gosh, dude.
Yeah, definitely weird. I have heard you can, the business can reject, if they come to your work, but I mean, they said, I just asked my managers and they didn't care. So I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, is that
whatever.
your PO?
Yeah.
Like, what's going on here? Do you got a parole officer here,
Exactly.
dude?
Yeah,
What's going on, dude? No, isn't it some crazy stuff?
Exactly. Yeah. But they all know I powerlift and travel. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So it helps.
So there's also with the training stuff, there's one thing that really worked for me for increasing the bench press, right? For really breaking that plateau up to 4 plates. Is volume. I added a lot more volume. Not only in the workouts themselves, but also we up the frequency. So for you, which one of these 3 lifts has responded the best to volume and frequency?
I'd definitely bench 100%. I mean, I think I've been benching almost closer to 4 days a week. And just way more volume. So yeah, I think it helps a ton. I think it's actually why I bet my last competition, I did like a 50 kilo PR or something, like 40 kilo PR in bench or something like that. So yeah, I think it's just from the volume, increasing the frequency. My only issue is the tendonitis in my elbows and stuff kind of fires up a little bit if it's too much. So, but
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. But I find I do a lot of frequency and I just do less weight. So I do like lower percentages and just more days of it. And that seems to do pretty good, honestly. So
4 days a week. Holy crap, dude. That's a lot, man.
it is. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. But like two of the 4 days are like I just do like 70% and I'll do simple like 4x5, you know?
Yeah.
So it's nothing crazy. But then the other two of
Yeah.
the days, one will be a heavier day and one's more like a heavier accessory day. So
Okay.
like, yeah. So I just kind of space it. They're not all the same, but they're pretty kind of just simple.
Yeah.
I just do more of it.
So is this like your training format? Is this like a an SBD type of format, or are you breaking up 2 lifts at a time?
Yeah, I break. It's usually 2 lifts at a time. On Monday I do SBD, and on Thursday I would do an SBD. But that's those are 2 days, I guess. But that's only
Okay.
recently because I added the 2 benches. Originally, I used to just do squat, deadlift on Monday, and then deadlift squat on Thursday. So it is a newer thing where I do SBD Monday and Thursday. But yeah.
Okay. And as far as you said previously that you were utilizing the box squat at a point in time. Are you still utilizing that? And if not, when did you pull that and why did you pull it out?
Um. Honestly, it's not a really good reason. It was more of just the fact that like it's really COVID times when I pulled it out. I don't have any boxes here to box squat on.
Mm.
That's really just the reason. I do I had put the boxes on the side of my squat bar, so my weight will touch the box. So that's like my new version. But I used to have it where I would sit on the box like behind me. So it's more like a pin squat than it is more a box squat now. But the real thing is I don't have the boxes to sit on. So, but I actually really liked them, if I had to be honest. But it's just, I just changed it to pin squats. But I did pin squats back then too, so I just kind of stick with that style now.
Yeah, because I've noticed that too. A lot of the single ply guys don't really utilize the box too much, as well as raw, right? It really did become like kind of a specificity for like multiply for some reason, which was weird because a lot of times also they weren't wearing anything when they were box squatting. But like I think that's also I do think that the box does translate, especially for the equipment, because you are not as much as multi, but you are sitting back into the equipment.
Hmm.
So I think if you have an issue doing that, if you're a real like kind of more Olympic lifting style squatter where it's very like knees over toes and things like that, and you want to get into the equipment, I feel like the box would be like a fucking excellent tool for that a lot of
Yeah,
people overlook.
I did box squat and chains a lot back in my high school days, and I really liked that actually. I think it would help me be like sit back, but then also be explosive when I get out of the hole, I guess, off the box, and like push through. I think actually that's what helps me grind through all my squats is training styles like that.
Yeah. So that accommodating resistance really helped you to kind of like understand when to like, for lack of a better term, like hit the turbo, like hit the
Mm,
nos.
exactly. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And stay tight because if you get loose on the box, I mean that's it.
Yep.
Same thing with pin squat too. Yeah, if I get forward or loose, there's just no way I'm gonna come back up. So
Yep.
yeah.
Yep. And speaking of staying tight, it's a big deal, man. So, and there's a lot of cues that go into equip powerlifting. There's a ton. So, do you have a specific like go-to cue that you try to keep in mind when you're attempting these heavy weights, or is it kind of just like everything's black? You kind of the cues are out the window.
Yeah, it's actually really changed over the years because recently when I squat, I just tell myself just squat. I don't think about anything. I just repeat just squat. And once I start thinking about it, that's when I mess up. I'm gonna sit back too far. I'm gonna get loose. I'm just gonna overcomplicate it. I'm gonna think too hard, get in my own head. So usually I'm walking up to the squat bar. I'm like, just squat it. Yeah, just squat. You've done it before.
Yeah.
I've done it 100 times, thousands of times. It's like just squat. And deadlifts though, I tell myself be patient and then fast hips. But
Mhm.
that's it. Yeah, just because those are 2 things I mess up. If I'm not patient, I jerk the bar and then I get too forward. And then once I hit my knees, I try to get fast with my hips. And that's it. Yeah, that's all I would think. And then bench, I don't think about anything. I just bench.
This
Yeah.
sucks.
Yeah. Yeah. I try to think about tucking my elbows, but I'm like, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's take
Yeah.
this lift out. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And speaking
Yeah.
of being a drug tested athlete, there's a lot that goes into the fatigue management, especially when you're talking about the equipment. I mean, it'll burn out your central nervous system pretty quick. So,
Hmm.
is there any anything that you do to manage the fatigue? I saw on your Instagram you do like some cold plunges and stuff like that. So like along the lines of that, is there anything else that you do to help manage that fatigue? And tell me a little bit how you got into the cold plunge and how much that sucks.
Well, I've honestly really been slacking on my fatigue management. I'll be honest. Just work, and I'm actually back in college right now, so I've been really busy, and it's a lame excuse, but I've been slacking. But I try to stretch and foam roll, but when I can. But really, I just relax and try not to go too hard outside of the gym or do anything too crazy. So I'm kind of fresh. Drink a lot of water. Kind of simple things, honestly. Take my supplements, my creatine, my protein powder, whatever, vitamins. But then, I don't really do much, to be honest. I just try to sleep. Try to get that's a big thing. Sleep, honestly. I try to get 8 hours of sleep. That's a huge thing. But yeah, the cold plunge has been nice. I like the cold plunge personally. I got into it. I bought like a cheap freezer from a hardware store. Built my own cold plunge, and I just kind of liked it, so I just stuck with it. I like the feeling. I think I feel better when I do it. I have been slacking on it recently, but I recently just got a new cold plunge like a week ago. So I got rid of my old freezer and stuff. It was kind of rusting and old. But I just got into it because I listen to Andrew Huberman. I mean, he's a big person that talks about the stuff and his protocols, and it sounded really interesting. I don't really remember. He had someone else that was a scientist on, and they were talking about the protocols and the boost that comes from it, and like I don't remember the exact numbers. But yeah, I've gotten into it. And I just do it. It sucks. I hate it every time, but I feel good after. So yeah, yeah.
How
So
long you been there for?
usually 4 minutes is what we aim for. Yeah, it's long. I was born and raised in Wisconsin, so I'm used to cold. I mean, I work outside too, so like I'm working out in the negative 30-degree weather all the time. I wear coats and stuff, but I would like to think I'm used to the cold and winters, and yeah, I'm assuming it's the same with you. But cold winters, you get used to it.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah,
What do you
for sure.
what do you do for work?
I'm actually working at a hardware store. I'm trying to get out of there. Right now. I'm going to school for chemistry, so I'm trying to get like internships and stuff for that.
Okay.
But yeah. But I work at a hardware store. Pretty simple. It's called Menards. It's big for the Midwest, but um, you know, it's it's a job.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
I've
yeah.
definitely been there. I think when I was your age, I was working at Vitamin Shop. Now I'm pretty adjacent to you there. I am a chemical lab tech now, so I work in a laboratory. A lot of people would not expect that, considering that I look like a criminal, but I'm not.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of where I'm hoping to end up. So I get it. Yeah,
Yep.
somewhere in a
Yeah.
lab of some sort. So that's my
Yep.
plan.
Yeah.
So yeah,
How much longer do you have to go for college for your degree?
about a year and a half. So I do actually have a business management degree. So
Okay.
I came back from chemistry because I realized business is not for me. I like science, big science guy. So
Yep.
yeah, yeah. So I've enjoyed it. I'm doing some research right now on lead soils and contaminated soils, and it's been fun.
Nice, dude.
I've
So
enjoyed it. Yeah.
are you getting into like kind of the environmental science side of it or
It weirdly enough, my schooling has turned more into that for my like research stuff. I've just met a group of people that were doing it, and they asked if I wanted to join for free, and I'm like, sure, why not? So I just do it all off free, and then yeah, I'm just why not? Yeah, just doing research.
Yeah,
I've used
dude.
some cool things, cool instruments, some like XRDs, and you know, yeah, we're getting some like photometers and XRFs, and just instruments, chemistry things. Yeah,
Yep,
yeah, I'm
yep.
into it. So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So
there's a
yeah,
lot
yeah.
of there's a lot of analyzers. There's a
Yes. Yeah.
lot of
Exactly.
analyzers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly. So
dude.
yeah. Yeah. So it's been fun. Yeah. It's
That's
just new,
awesome.
but I
Yeah,
enjoyed it. So yeah.
that's awesome, dude. And you're right around the corner from that too. A year and a half, that's not too far to go, man. So you're
No,
at
not
the
at all.
finish line. You're at the finish line. That's
Exactly.
super sick.
Yeah.
So was there a moment in powerlifting so far? You're young, you're strong. Was there a point that you wanted to quit, that you wanted to kind of walk away from the sport, or has it always just been like good?
Honestly, if anything, I would say I'm closer to that now than ever. It's not that I want to quit. I just think life. I'm doing the school things and internships, and like I'm busy. You know. So like I'm trying to fit all this stuff in my schedule, and I'm still working my job. So I have to pay for all this stuff, and like it's not that I'm gonna quit. I just think I'll take a break. Is more what I would say it is. just because I'm overwhelmed and everything else. So like this would be like the back burner kind of thing. And I think I'm always gonna work out probably forever, honestly. So I just yeah, probably right now, but it's only because I'm busy. It's not because I hate it, not because I want to just quit. It's just more of that stuff, and affording it. I mean, tuition's expensive, so I don't have sponsors or anything. I pay all of this out of my own pocket, so this stuff, yeah. So I'm not rich,
Yeah.
not in any way. So yeah. So yeah,
Dude, I don't know if anyone outside the 1% is rich in this fucking economy, but
exactly.
with your powerlifting, that's very very kind of like insightful. I myself, when I was focused on pro wrestling, I took 4 years off from the sport. I didn't compete for 4 years, found my way back. And that definitely happens. I mean, you look at someone like Jesse Norris, one of the greatest powerlifters of all time that people for some reason don't know about. There's a lot of kids that don't know about Jesse Norris. It's crazy. Yeah. But he ended up becoming like a sheriff, right? Having and doing that thing. So it was like, there are things in life that just kind of they take over. And it's like powerlifting was a chapter of your life and a part of who you are, but in totality, it's not your complete character, right? It helped build you to who you are, but it was a stepping stone for that, But some people, powerlifting encompasses their entire being and they can't let it go. And it's just like, no matter how much it sucks, no matter how messed up they are, they sever relationships. You've heard this before on Dave Tate, Table Talk. He talks about it. All the sacrifices they did back in the day, ruining relationships and things like that. It's like, it's, at some point you have to figure out if it's worth it, right?
Yeah, I do kind of get it though, because like certain relationships too, if they don't really support you what you want to do, it's kind of like it's a rough spot, like you need to find someone that supports you in that way. But like, yeah, I've also dedicated it. I mean, I've been doing this since I was like 10, 11, so like, but 14 years in this, almost 15 years. So it's like, yeah, that's like, when do I just take a small break? And there's been times where I've almost burnt out, but not really, honestly. I just kind of enjoy working out still. I enjoy fitness, so yeah. It helps. I think it helps. I don't coach. I don't train. I mean, I do train. I only train people I want to train. And I don't charge them. I do it for free, and like, it's just like, it's kind of nice to just do it on my own terms. I don't ever burn out, really.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's definitely easy to come. The burnout is easy to find, and especially, mentally as well, because social media it's a double-edged sword, right? Social media is the reason that people like you and I got to meet, things like that. I've got to meet some of the coolest people that I talk to on a daily basis now because of this podcast. So that is a byproduct of social media. But then you have the other side of it where it gets very kind of like psychologically manipulative, very dark. It can be really bad for your self-esteem just seeing fucking PR after PR, and it's all these people, they're so much stronger, and it's like it might push like especially younger kids to kind of be more impressionable, take drugs, things like that. The drug culture on social media is massive. It's really bad. But I think it's been like that for a while. So do you think that social media has had more of a positive or negative impact overall on the sport? Because exposure isn't always necessarily a good thing.
I mean, it definitely has benefits because, I mean, obviously more people know what powerlifting is. I mean, you have the huge, like, classic people. I do think, I mean, it's grown classic. I mean, huge, honestly. So, like, even, like, back in the old days, like, international, like, the IPF was, like, almost all equipped. But now you see more and more raw coming in and stuff. So, like, it has definitely grown that part. But now it's always, like, everyone hates on each other. I mean, over stupid things, like classic hates on equipped hates on classic, multiply hates on equipped, single ply, and it's like, this is always a circle, and like, that stuff's not good. I feel like I really don't care if you're classic or equipped. I mean, I prefer equipped, obviously, but like, yeah, they're different. There's no reason hating on each other, but honestly, I think if anything, it's kind of hurt equipped more, but helped classic, just because everyone says it's cheating, everyone hates on it. It's kind of harder for people to join it because they don't want to be the cheater of the club and become equipped. And like, yeah, so it definitely has its downsides. Definitely comparisons. Like, I think I don't really do anything on social media. I don't really watch people. I've been trying to post more because I know I suck at that. I feel like someone should post for equipped. I know Zen does and other people do, and like, more people should post for equipped. But I feel like I'm more focused on myself and my own PRs and just improving myself, But for all these young people, I can imagine like just seeing PR after PR, people stronger. You see some 105 pulling, 400 kilos, and you're like, I only pull 200. you know, yeah. So like, I get it, definitely. Like, it hurts,
Yeah.
but like, yeah, I just definitely has its downsides. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's good for growth though. I mean, this is the most I've ever seen powerlifting. Maybe just because I see it, but at least for us, like in the region, I feel like we used to have huge powerlifting teams for high school though, and like a lot of that's just dropped off, and but you see a lot more of like the social media people, and then everyone's an online coach, which some people are good, but like that's not good, Not everyone should be a coach. Not everyone's qualified, So it definitely has its downsides, and the time. And then people spend so much time on social media, So I mean that's a whole thing on its own, but
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So
Yeah. No, you're completely
definitely,
right, man. You're completely right.
yeah.
And with like, you stay real busy. So what are you doing to kind of like, for your lack of a better term, mental health, the kind of stress management to decompress? Because when things get busy and it's like back to back, everything's just rolling and the days roll into each other and you're like, Jesus Christ, like, can I get a second to chill out? When you do get that second to chill out, that recreational time, what do you like to do to decompress? What are some of your hobbies?
No, I really like to garden. I'm a big gardener. I like to woodwork. We have a little hobby CNC machine. I have a 3D printer. Um, yeah, I like to do all these little things, but yeah, gardening really makes me happy. I have like a worm bit in there, so I do. It's like I'm a big kind of hippie. I like going for walks. I like walking my dog, and I like walking through parks and fields and forests. you know, yeah. So yeah, I just like doing whatever, honestly. But I like baking. I got sourdough. I bake sourdough bread and desserts, and yeah, not what you expect from me, but yeah, big into science too. So
Yep.
yeah. So doing all these research things, and yeah. So
Dude, that's sick. Yeah, it sounds like, especially from like the environmental aspect, sounds like you'd fit really well over here on the West Coast.
mm, I can see it.
Yeah.
Honestly, yeah, definitely. Yeah,
Yeah, dude. Have you been over here before?
I went to Spokane. I don't know. It's been many years, but yeah, I loved it actually.
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It was one of my favorite spots I've been to. So
And so
in the U.S.,
were you born and raised in Wisconsin?
I was. Yeah, right here. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm like right over Racine, which is like it's like an hour north of Chicago and like 40 minutes south of Milwaukee. So we're like between two pretty big cities. So yeah,
Okay.
but born and raised.
Yeah. Sick,
Yeah,
dude. Right on, man. All right, man.
yeah.
So was there anything else that I left out that you wanted to cover? Anything that you wanted to talk about? Use my platform. Absolutely.
Um, well, I'd like to thank my sponsor, Titan. I mean, they always supply me with everything. Obviously. I mean, they've been a huge help over the years. There's no way I could afford all this equipment and like wraps and suits and like I do all my own adjustments, but like they've been great help. Definitely the best equipment that I've had. Um, I've recently been an affiliate for that Stance Fitness. That's like the bar velocity tracker thing. Even that thing, like I don't know about your opinion, but what is your opinion on velocity bar trackers? I just saw somebody else that was hating so much on it.
I think it's a cool tool. I think that sometimes if you are prone to paralysis by analysis, if you're prone to that, don't use it because you're gonna zone in on this way too much. But as a variable to track progress, especially short term, I love it. I think it's super sick. I don't use it myself, but I think it's sick. And I know some people at the gym that use it, and I'm like, dude, this is dope. It seems like another tool. It doesn't seem like a gimmick. Some things in this are just fucking gimmicks. There's a lot of that in here, right? But I
Definitely.
I like it. I think it's sick, dude.
Yeah, I actually like a lot of the gimmicky stuff too sometimes. I'll be honest. Sometimes it's fun, But yeah, I really like the boss bar trainer. I do agree though. I mean, like it's like yeah, if you're in paralysis by analysis, I mean that's a problem. But honestly, I do use it as a tool. That's it. I mean, it's nice. It's simple. It just helps me, reassure what I'm feeling. But honestly, even if I feel good and it doesn't, says something else, I still go for it. I'll be honest.
Yeah,
Because I'm like, yeah. I'm like, why not?
yeah,
There's also having the faith in myself. I've done this stuff enough where like you learn, you know.
yeah.
Yeah, but I
And
don't
so that speed is a huge indicator for you then.
know. I would say huge. I mean, I still have my program and I try to stay within the bounds. I would say the program is the most important in my opinion.
Okay.
Which is just the percentages I kind of set myself. I try not to go too far above the next week. If I do, to try to like keep myself, not going crazy. So
Yeah.
yeah. But it is nice. I use it. Yeah, definitely. Sometimes too, if I'm busy, I had a long day at work, and sometimes I'll move like 1,000 bags of mulch and 1,000 bags of concrete in a day, and then come home to work out, and I'm tired, and then I'm slow, and I'm like, yeah, it makes sense. I've had a rough day, so like,
Yeah.
yeah, stuff happens.
Yeah.
So
And it can
yeah,
tell you too. It can tell you like good indicator of also maybe because we all do it sometimes when you're being lazy. Because
definitely,
that happens. Like it's a good indicator of laziness. Like
yeah,
it is a truth teller. When you want to be biased toward yourself. Because I've done it myself, especially like being a conventional deadlifter. It's like aggression is huge and intensity is huge in the conventional deadlift. So it's like George Lehman, Pete Rubish. Like it's massive. So and sometimes I'll look at my program and I'll be like, oh, I gotta hit this for fucking 11. And then my
hmm
first set, I feel like moves slow and I hit 8 and I'm like, you're just being lazy, and it was the intensity, in the speed metric of intensity, right?
definitely, yeah, for sure. I don't know. It's just a good tool.
Yeah.
It's one more tool to have. But yeah, I don't have much more. I don't think.
Yeah.
Anything else you
Especially
want to talk about?
dude, especially your level. That is a really good point that you brought up because at your level, dude, those little variables matter so much because you are
Yeah,
at the top level. If someone's like just getting into the sport or maybe they've been into it for a couple years and they're like that intermediate level, it's like sometimes you just got to lift weights. Sometimes you
definitely.
just got to get bigger. You got to put on muscle. You got to go through it. But at your level, it's a completely different ball game. Everything matters here because you have these other competitors from Ukraine and all over the globe that are gunning for the exact same title that you are. So you have to do what they aren't doing, or at least hope what they're not doing, or do it better, right? So
Exactly.
those little things add up, could add up to a world championship,
Yeah.
right?
But even we talk about like reducing range of motion or like stance wise, angle of your toes, like all that stuff is. I've tried almost everything. Different shoes, wrist straps, belts. I mean, we just have tons of equipment. Not tons of equipment, but like I've just tried tons of different things, and like it's finding what works for you. That's the biggest thing. I always get people on Instagram too that message me and be like, "What do I do? Like, how do I be like you?" And I'm like, it's kind of about figuring out what works for you is what the thing. Like, like I can give them a little guidance, but like I don't have a cure, Like
Yeah.
don't squat like me, don't deadlift like me, unless it feels good, But like, yeah, like you gotta figure it out. Some people are conventional deadlifters, some people are sumo. It's all about what works for you. So it's
Yeah.
the same thing too. It's all the influencers. It's all the people I see online, So I get it at work all the time. I get it,
Yeah.
my messages and all that stuff. So yeah,
Yeah.
you know, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. So
You brought up a
yeah,
great point with footwear, which is something that
uh,
is criminally overlooked. I've tried all kinds of footwear, and it wasn't until I started squatting with an elevated heel where I was like, okay, this because in wrestling I tore ligaments in my ankle. It's like my ankle mobility isn't great. So, dude, the lifters for me, I mean, I've been using them for years. I love them. I can't go back. I tried a couple weeks ago. I tried to squat in Vans. I was like, let's just see how this feels. Let's throw a wrench in here, change it up, see if it feels better. Maybe it'll feel better. No, it felt much worse. So for me, squatting in flats I hate it. It sucks for me. So for you, what does the footwear look like? What are you wearing?
I wear like the TYR squat shoes.
Okay.
I do like them. I mean, they're good. I started off with Adidas. Adidas used to have old lifters a long time ago. I think Reebok had a version, and then yeah, right now the TYR ones are nice, but they're just heeled. They're like the heel shoes, the high heel ones. I do like I think it's the Max Limit if I'm right for the IPF. Um, that's my preferred. It helps me sit back more and equipped. Helps me use the suit more. I actually don't mind squatting in flats, but I think depth is harder to hit. I think my ankle mobility sucks too. So I mean, if you talk about like depth standards and stuff, like I think heels helps me a lot. So yeah. Deadlifts, I love flat shoes. I like the Sabo SABO, like the
Mm.
Russian brand deadlift shoes. I've not tried a lot of deadlift shoes, but those are my favorite. I hate slippers. I like the shoes. I like the slippers, like they do like a roll when you try to push out. so
Yeah.
I don't like that. But yeah, the flat shoes on that, I also like. They got ankle support on them. They're nice. I don't slip.
Yeah.
My platform's kind of slippery, so it's kind of nice to have grippier flat shoes, I would say.
Yep.
Yeah, but I like the heels and bench too. It helps me get I have a small arch, but it helps me get a bigger arch, I would say, and get like more tight. Flat shoes, I feel like I'm usually tend to be more loose. So
Yeah.
yeah. So, depends. Same idea though. Depends what works for you. I know a lot of
Yep.
people that they prefer flat shoes, equipped squatting. But a lot of times when I see that, they struggle with depth. So they go hand in hand, I would say. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
I love the elevated heel for bench too. I use them for bench too. I use the same shoes
hmm
for bench that I use for squat.
Yeah, me too.
Yep. Yeah, mine are just some fucking super old Adidas.
hmm
Speaking of kind of like your deadlift, you brought up a good point with that as well. With you being a sumo guy, are you training the conventional deadlift as well, or is it kind of like mainly just strictly sumo?
I've trained a lot of conventional actually. I think it helps a ton, honestly. It helps strengthen those muscles you don't always use in sumo. More recently, I have not, but it's just because it's not in my program. I mean, if it was, I would do it. So, I do like conventional. I'm better at sumo, so that's why I stick with sumo. But yeah, I'm just a sumo guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And on your program with the squats and whatnot, are you still using bands and accommodating resistance in that regard, or are you mainly just specificity, just taking it as practice like you play?
Mm, a lot of just like practice like you play, honestly. Like I practice for you know what it's gonna be.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're really there to do 3 squats, 3 deadlifts. I'm not there to band anything. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. You know. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Sean Frankel was real big on that too. I talked to him and they were like, kind of like the antithesis to West Side Barbell because they were like, we took the box out because we didn't squat within competition. So that's just how we squatted. Like we
hmm
practiced like we played. Um, Another thing that I was interested in is have you ever had any issues adjusting to the pressure of the suits? Like when you're in the bottom of a squat or like the bottom of a bench or something like that, the pressure can get pretty crazy, especially when your gear is like really tight. Have you had any issues with that? And if so, how have you been able to accommodate to that pressure?
I do find if I'm dehydrated, that pressure does get worse. I see a lot more stars and stuff. Almost pass out
Yeah.
feeling more. Yeah. So I think being hydrated. I don't know why I'm not. I mean, I don't know science behind it or anything, but like I think that helps me a ton. Like I find the days I drink like a glass of water and I work out with a suit, I'm like, yeah, this feels awful. But yeah, so I try to drink usually about a gallon of water before I lift throughout the day, trying to stay hydrated. That's probably good for life in general to stay hydrated. You probably just
Yeah.
feel better. Yeah, it's a good life rule, I would say.
Yeah.
Um, but honestly, I definitely struggle with it. There's a lot of days where you get out of the bar and you're like, I think I'm gonna pass out. But I kind of just, you know, I think maybe just because I've done it for so long, I just kind of accept it, you know?
Yeah.
Or like you kind of just hold on to something for a second,
Yeah.
just in case you do pass out. Or like I always talk about like I look around like which way should I fall if I pass out?
Yeah.
Like I don't know if I gotta choose. I've never passed out, but like do I get like a moment where I'm like I'm gonna pass out that direction because there's nothing sharp, you know?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. So like I don't know. I've never passed out though, so yeah, but I feel like I've been close. Your lights start getting dim, and
Oh,
you know, yeah. For deadlifts too, especially. I think this weight gain, I just have more in my stomach. I feel like so it's
yeah.
been that much harder to get around that pressure. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's hard to explain, like, to people that compete raw that have never put anything on. It's hard to explain because, like, yeah, I mean, taking a raw max sucks. It's hard, right? I
hmm
mean, you're very vulnerable as well because there's nothing there. It's just you.
hmm
So it's like, when you put on this equipment and not only do you have the pressure of the weight now, you got the pressure of the material, and it's like multiple things are just trying to kill you. And
Yeah.
it's like seeing the stars and like I get headaches too. If I'm dehydrated for sure, I get bad
hmm
headaches that'll like trickle into the next day. Like no matter how much
Yes.
Excedrin I take, like it sucks, dude.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Honestly, and people compare raw and equipped all the time, but I just think they're too different. That's it. They're just too different. I
Yeah.
don't think one's worse than the other. I don't really think one's cheating or anything. It's just, yeah, it's just two different things. It's
Yeah.
like apples and oranges. You just comparing
Yeah.
two different things. I don't really like. I always not make fun of it, but judge the drama in the Raw community sometimes. I feel like Equipped's very more just not that.
Yeah.
Also, Equipped is way more of a team sport, I would say. Like
Right.
a lot of classic people are just vlogging themselves or whatever, recording themselves in the back room and trying to do their meet and get the followers, see their day and whatever. But
Yep.
Equipped, usually when I go there, it's like less social media, but it's more like of a group and a family. And like, I mean, you go out and have drinks after, have dinner, you sit down and talk, and like, people rap each other, people load each other's weights. It's like
Yep.
way more of a team community. Not that I hired a coach and come in to watch me lift, and
Yeah.
then I hired my camera guy. So
Yep. Yep.
yeah, so I definitely enjoy that side more. And I've gotten pretty close to all the people I've lifted with over the years, and so it's kind of nice. Met a lot of people, new people. So
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah,
the community aspect of it is way overlooked because it's so cool.
yeah,
It's really sick, man, to train with like a couple people and you guys are like on the same wavelength, like and seeing other people progress as well in their training. It's
yeah,
really cool, man. And I feel like it makes the sport a lot better. I feel like that's what made the sport great in the first place. Like coming
yeah,
up, like you had teams coming up, like people were representing their
definitely,
gym, right?
yeah. And I'm like friends with people I've just thought I would never even be friends with. Like
Yeah.
I'm like 15-year-old me. I met like Ian Bell in like Florida once. And like I think he gave me his hat off his head or some shit like that. Like something cool. And I thought it was
Yep.
the coolest shit ever. Like, oh my
Yeah.
God, I talked to Ian Bell. But now
Yep.
like, 10 years later, I sat down and had like a burger with him.
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah. So like it's cool.
It's super
Yeah.
sick.
Just so different
So
than you know. I think Raw they'd just be so separate. That's it.
I think
Usually.
I think raw, and I don't mean this derogatory. I love raw powerlifting, but I think more people in raw powerlifting are more susceptible to main character syndrome.
Definitely. 100%. Yes.
Right?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. This is,
I'm usually like
but
the opposite because a lot of time I feel like I'm not that special.
yeah.
I think I'm a pretty average Midwestern American and
Yep.
yeah, I don't think I'm that crazy anything,
Yeah.
honestly. So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
It's good though, man. It keeps the ego in check. It keeps reality in perspective. Right. It's good.
definitely.
It's good
Yeah,
because you.
my dad reminds me all the time that I'm small and I'm weak and yeah, so it helps. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, dude. There's nothing like a dad to deflate your tires a bit. I remember I took so when I work up in the squat, usually one thing that my coach and I are big on is that raw base.
hmm
And one thing that was big for me is like we always try to when we're on our way up, we go up to 500 pounds and we take it with just a belt, nothing else. Like that's it,
hmm
just a belt, smash it. And the last time I did, I took the belt off, so it was nothing. And I obviously my brace is huge, so I'm like pushing my belly out. First thing my dad says, not about the speed, not because I sent him the video. I keep him updated on my progress. The first thing he points to is my belly. Like he's not talking about the bar speed, the like nothing. Just
hmm
like, oh, your belly's getting huge, brother. I'm like,
yeah,
thanks, dude. Tight. Like, yeah,
spot right. Yeah, yeah.
it's like,
It's
what about the
definitely
squat, dude? Like, come on, man.
definitely that's yeah. He's also like my biggest fan deep down, I
Yep.
feel like, but he won't tell me. Not to my face.
Yeah.
Sometimes he does, but like, yeah. Yeah. Most time I'm like, I did 4 reps. He's like, why didn't you do 5? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. That'll
Yeah.
come later. That'll come later.
Yeah. Yeah. We're also very competitive. We do like max rep competitions against each other and stuff like that. So like, yeah, I'm always trying to outbench him. Always.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah.
And he has
Yeah.
old man strength, so like it's not fair.
Oh, he's strong. Yeah.
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 He can still
That
bench probably
comes.
close. He can still bench like 500 pounds almost raw. So yeah. 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 So
So
it's
sick.
it's a hard competition right there.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. That's definitely.
So closing out here, man. What's next for you? What are you training for right now?
Well, we're talking about doing this next world maybe. I'm not sure. It's supposed to be in Turkey. I'm not sure. I mean, the global stuff going on, that's just kind of will it change the location or whatever. For me personally, I mean, I have chemistry. I'm trying to become a lab tech of some sort. Internships hopefully. That works with there right now, and then yeah, I'm trying to become a chemist, some type of you know move on my own personal goals, and Yeah, yeah, that's probably the big thing, honestly. And then obviously I want to train for Worlds. I mean, that's the huge thing. I want to compete 105. I'm hoping to have even more gain. I had like a 57 kilo PR my last meet, and that was me, not going all out. So I'm hoping to have even more. I do know that like Ian Bell's like a 1060 or something like that. It'd be cool. I really want to train for obviously World Games. That's in Germany coming up. A couple of years out, obviously. My own personal goal, like with that, is like me and Ian. Me and Ian Bell. I think he wants to do it. Obviously, I want us to be first, second. I don't care if it's like me beating him, he beats me. I'll be okay being second to Ian. There's no one I'd rather lose to. So like, but then we both qualify at World Games. That'd be awesome. And then go at it again at World Games. That'd be my goal, I think. So that's what I always visually see. So yeah, I don't know. Try pushing that 1100 kilo total. That'd be awesome. So yeah, I got some big goals in my head.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah,
Hell yeah, dude.
I also want to bench, I think, 600 pounds. That'd be my goal.
You're right there.
So,
You're right
yeah,
there.
I am, honestly. It's closer than I'd ever think I'd be. So
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, I think if I pushed like a 450 squat one day, and then like a 600-pound squat or bench, and then like closer to like an 800-pound deadlift, I think that would set me up pretty well. So
yeah, you're a prime position to do so, because your last meet, I remember watching the recap on Instagram, and I was like, it was a third attempt. That did not look like a third attempt. This dude has more in the freaking tank. So like, even like as a assessment meet for the weight class up,
Mhm.
a hell of a performance. I mean, man, there's there's a lot there, dude. There's a lot. I think you have a
Definitely.
lot to be optimistic about. There's a lot of pounds there, dude, or kilos there
I
on
feel like I'm in like
table.
I'm definitely like uncharted territory. Even my training sessions, I was getting close to like almost 410 squats already, and that was me at 220. So like, yeah, but I've also squatted like close to 405 and the 93s and stuff. So like, it's like I'm hoping this weight changed. I'm hoping with my bench shirt too. I've heard the more weight you gain, the better the bench shirt. I've seen that already, so I'm hoping even more weight helps more. So yeah, I'm definitely in different territory.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
that weight
So
gain has been monumental for your performance. If you look on over powerlifting, just from October to March is
mhm.
crazy. I mean, that's
Yeah.
a crazy leap, dude. And you still like, a lot of people they'll go up a weight class and their cardio will suffer. Their fitness, their like GPP will suffer.
Mhm.
But here, 8 for 9, that's not suffering. I mean, that's a breeze. That's crazy.
Yeah, I'm also still pretty active. So like I do like even right now I've been doing like low runs. I'm trying to get back into running.
Okay.
So I'm trying to run, but it's the heaviest I've ever been. So my ankles hurt, my calves hurt, my shins, like yeah,
Dude,
I'm definitely not
sucks, dude.
athletic. Definitely not athletic at all. But yeah, I'm trying to keep my cardio up, 'cause I think that is something that's gonna suffer.
Yeah.
Being this heavy. I can feel it already. I feel myself, I'd say fat breathing, but I breathe heavy a lot, up a staircase and like, yeah. So like I'm trying to maintain that,
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's about it. I run with my dog a lot too. I chase him around and he's way faster than me. So like,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
So good cardio, you
Yep.
know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
especially in the equipment. In the equipment, it's a whole different ball game to get through the meet, because that like that toll on your central nervous system will also be a byproduct of how cardiovascularly fit you are. So like
definitely.
you can mitigate that, and it's going to be much harder in the equipment. And then you add something like weight gain on top of that. You definitely have to figure out ways to mitigate the damage going up.
Yeah.
And you seem to do that extremely well.
Yeah. Especially with I think heat's the biggest weakness of mine. Like, I train out in my gym. We don't really have much. We have a low air conditioner, but like it's pretty weak, if I'd be honest. So like, our gym can be 100 degrees and sweating and equipment and the claustrophobicness, and it's just not fun. It makes it hard. So yeah. So heat's the biggest weakness, and I sweat a lot. And then the more weight I gain too, the more I sweat and the more
Yeah.
uncomfortable I feel. So it's like, yeah, it's stuff I'm just trying to deal with and get around it. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude. Especially like trying to, if you don't have anyone with you, God forbid, trying to peel off a single ply bench shirt after you've been sweating. It's like the symbiote just sticking to Eddie Brock and Venom, and it's like you can't get this
Yes.
shit off. And then
Yeah.
I start to panic a little bit. It's like, fuck, dude,
Yeah.
this is terrible.
been stuck in many suits. My dad just drags me out, basically. Yeah, we struggle together. Yeah, yeah.
Team effort.
Back in the warm room too. Sometimes there'll be like 3 people pull me out of my squat suit. So yeah. So
I love it. It's
yeah,
so
definitely.
good.
Yeah, for sure. That's
Awesome, dude. Well, man, plug your social media, like where people can find you, join along with your journey, and support you, man.
well, just on Instagram. It's noah.johnson0. No, that's really about all I post. I post occasionally, not too consistently, but I'm trying. You know,
Yeah.
I'm trying to be better. So yeah.
Yep. Well, you have a lot of people watching you. I mean, obviously internationally, you were a request from Norway, so you got people out there that are big on you, man, and looking forward to seeing all your progress in the future. So
Yeah, I look forward to.
yeah, man. Thanks a lot for joining me, bro. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you for having me on.
Absolutely, man. We'll see you later, bro.
All right, bye.